teaching the satir model, actually having them stand up and point and go, it's all your fault. Anything for you. If one were to analyze this, somebody getting in their head, so people who compute, that comes from parents who kept raising the bar. If you got an A, why wasn't an A plus? If you kicked a goal in soccer, why didn't you win the game? If they keep pulling the brass ring out of reach, then they just learned academia. But a good student studies, right? But when they take the test, they can be graded. So computer, that state of mind, causes them to stay in analysis and studying because they feel smart there and they can't be graded. So it's hard to get them to make a closed decision. It's like, do you want the blue one or the red one? Well, the blue ones always break and the red ones are incredibly expensive. Sounds smart, right? It's not an answer. I've actually taught that in my office in a screening, and clients are like, yes. And I'm like, are you serious? You don't get the point that having that information isn't better than having a decision? But there are people that actually go into it, and then distraction doesn't have a verbal because they just avoid everything. And that's a wonderful example of eating, like nighttime eating, when you're great all day long, had fruit for breakfast, big dark green salad for lunch, had a small amount of meat with vegetable side, had 6 to 8 glasses of water, and maybe one cocktail with friends, and didn't even finish it. And then you go home and you're sitting on the couch and you're alone. And then all of a sudden, popcorn and maybe just one cookie and then that cube of cheese. And you wake up the next morning and instead of being a pound lighter, you're a pound heavier because of that alone time in bed. And there's a couple of reasons. When it's time to sleep, our body needs to sleep. But if you're watching a show or talking on the phone or doodling on your computer, your subconscious will keep you awake because remember, it keeps you safe and loved and warm and protected all the time. So it's like, oh, she's doing something. We'll keep her awake. Carbs, carbs, carbs. Because I don't know anybody who craves broccoli florets at 9 o'clock at night. I've yet to meet one. But that PM eating sometimes is just your subconscious trying to get sugar or starches to wake you up so you can stay up later, which means you just need to go to bed. But for a lot of people, that's the only time in their day when the kids are in bed, you don't have to be at work, the laundry's done, the dishes are clean, husband's doing whatever he's doing, and now you're sitting there alone with yourself. And a lot of people, when they're alone with themselves, they're not really impressed. And that distraction of food in the evening keeps them from having to face the state of their marriage, how good a parent they are, how fulfilled they are in their career, the direction their body or their life or their finances are going. So it's just a distraction. So you can go to bed. You can do self-hypnosis in that quiet time before bedtime to refocus on the goals you want. Or you can really focus and go back to physical, financial, emotional, and spiritual and go, how do I want my life to go? I've got 10 fingers and 10 toes and a fully functioning brain like every billionaire out there in the world, which means I can do anything they can do, which is really the presupposition of NLP. Anything that one person can do, another person can do it by just following the steps they went through. So in the evening, if you're eating and snacking, if you're great during the day and then you're eating and snacking at the end of the day, you either need to go to bed and get the sleep you need, or maybe face what it is you want your life to be, and then make a really clear goal after you've leveled with yourself and you're not blaming. It's all my husband's fault. He never cleans up the thing. Or, well, I just have to do it because the kids want it and they went, or overanalyzing them. Well, I read this 10 article over here and then I went to this doctor who said this and then I did this thing over there. Or just distract away and eat in the evening. Or you can just go, how do I want this to go? Where am I proudest when I look in the mirror physically? Where am I most safe and feeling most good about myself financially? How do I want to handle myself emotionally so that at the end of the day or after the interaction, I'm proud of how I handled myself. And spiritually, when my feet hit the floor in the morning, what is my purpose for being alive today? Like, what is all of this going toward? And that's really what we do in the free screening, is help them establish all of that. And then the hypnosis sessions are just the tools and techniques to help them keep adjusting their perspective to get there. And those overwhelmed thoughts, when you were talking about the moms, working moms that have no time and are frustrated with everything, that's I like self hypnosis for them the most, because maybe they really don't have 30 minutes of uninterrupted quiet time throughout the day. So I tell a lot of them, go to your car, recline the seat, park somewhere lovely, and listen to your audio in the car on your lunch hour. Or I had one mom that used to do it in the park in the driveway of her house before she went in at the end of the day. She would just recline her seat in the driveway. As soon as she got home, she'd pop in her hypnosis, she'd do it. When it was over, she goes, I felt more awake and I wasn't frustrated and angry from being at work. Like it was her way of leaving work at home. And then when she went in the house, she was all calm and re-energized, and then she could just be mom and not be running from work. And it worked out great for her. I had another woman cleared out her attic, she bought a light sound machine from me like I have in my office, and put a recliner up there and kind of made therapy room 1 of my office in her attic, and said, this is my space. Nobody's allowed in here. And she would go up into the attic recliner seat and she literally recreated everything that happened in my office in her attic to do her home hypnosis. And it was just her favorite room in the house. It was really funny.